Good evening, people of the internet. I have a theory I would like to share with you tonight, and that theory I'm gonna share it while I'm whittling some wood. I'm making a chair, and the chair making will become it will become clear why I'm doing this and why I think this is important. Um, this video is kind of a long time coming. It's been in my head for a while, and it's been a thought I've been having for a long time. Really, um, is it's wonderful how when you before you start recording these videos, you have this idea in your head of how this thing's going to go, and then you actually start saying the thing, and well, it goes somewhere else. But here's the gist of it. For the largest period of human history, we made things with our hands. We were capable. If you were if you were in a little village somewhere in rural Scotland 500 years ago and you had no skills, you couldn't craft, you couldn't hunt, you couldn't entertain, you couldn't sing, you either, maybe you were the jester, maybe people laugh, maybe you were a hunter, maybe you were a farmer, you were someone that made things, right? Um, we have in our world today people on the internet that make videos like this, and they make money off of ad revenue. Now you can add that, yeah, they're providing some service and they're educating people and they're inspiring people, and I can get behind that because it's kind of to a degree what I like to try and do with my own videos. However, I think the lack of involvement of our hands, of our bodies, in what we do so often is a real killer. And if you talk to a lot of people are in jobs they don't like, and we work a lot of the time. Most of us, that's a big chunk of life is the work you do. A lot of people don't like their jobs. And it's been said, I'm not the first to say it, I won't be the last, but if you don't like what you do, then you kind of don't like a lot of your life. Now, I'm not saying, just quit your job and move into the woods and whittle chairs. I mean, that'd be dope. But I've not quite figured out how to do that yet. What I'm saying more so, what I think is more practical and immediate in the short term, is re-engage with what makes us human. What makes us human isn't the internet, is not the internet. What makes us human is music, is art, is creation. It's all the things we did before we had jobs. It's all the things before any human had jobs. Yeah, we had roles, but roles weren't quite the same as jobs. There was no pension plans, there was no 401k, there was no taxes. I'm not saying get rid of all the taxes, get rid of all the money, get rid of all this. I mean, maybe I am a little bit, but more so what I'm saying is that we are humans in a human zoo, in a way. We've not demechanized, we have domesticated ourselves, but we have forgotten that we're still humans, that we're still kind of animals, and that we have, for the grandest part of our history, been creators, we've been crafters, we've been entrepreneurs, we have learned skills, we have then shared those skills with others, and the value that we've been able to create in the world has been then recompensated, and that's how we've been able to survive. Yeah, there's people doing this digitally, and you know what? I think that's awesome, and it's kind of a goal of mine, is to be able to figure that whole thing out. But in the meantime, I think a very important other aspect to that is doing things physically, is making things, is using your creativity. A lot of people say, I talk to people about creativity, not all the time, because I don't leave the house very often. I do sometimes, and I go meet friends and whatnot, and sometimes we discuss creativity and we discuss these kinds of things. And I talk about my writing, my books, and my paintings, and my stools, and whatever, my wooden stools. That's between me and my doctor, the other thing. And sometimes that conversation, if they're a person that is already quite creative, we have this enjoyable discourse about creativity and about the joy it is, and about how much kind of flavor it brings into your life and just the enjoyment of it. However, more often, well, not more often, but frequently, this conversation goes the other way, where someone then very creatively, I'll add, explains all of the reasons why they're not creative. And I know it's been said time and time again that doubt and worry are creativity's ugly cousins, and they are. You know, we create reasons why we're not creative, which to me is the most insane shit ever. But anyway, well, it's not the most insane shit ever, but it's pretty whacked out, I think. So this video is all going the same way as to say, you know, if you feel a bit stuck, lost, busted up, broken, confused in life, and you don't know where the fuck you're going, maybe you should grab a knife. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, but maybe you should grab a knife and some wood. And maybe you should go whittle in your garage. Maybe you should learn how to fix a bike. Maybe you should learn how to play the piano. Maybe you should learn how to write a song, how to write a poem, how to draw. But not to draw technically perfectly, just to express yourself. To make a cake. To be able to build a tent. To survive in the woods for a day. For a week. Maybe for a month. To make your own electricity. To grow food. Maybe the reason you feel helpless is because you are helpless, because you have no skills and you don't feel competent in the world. Maybe I was saying that to myself. But maybe that's it. Maybe you should just try. Maybe you should just try and make something. And in the process of making something, you will remake something inside yourself. And you will teach yourself, you will remind yourself, you will reawaken that part of you that knows and remembers that you're a human being, and that human beings were built different from all the other animals. We're wired different. We are wired to create, to make, to turn emotion into art, to turn ideas into reality. We're awesome. And we forgot. A lot of us forgot. And I really, really do think the solution is not TikTok. I don't think that's it. I don't think the solution is on the internet, despite the fact that I'm putting this on the internet. I think it's probably doing something with your hands. You can take that however you want to. But, you know, like, do the other stuff too. And you know what? I think I've probably said enough. And I gotta get back to making this chair. So, have a nice day.